Alright, this section's about solving for a variable. This will be a lot different than what we're used to having for answers. I'll get into that in a little while. Our goal is to solve for a given variable. So we may be given some formula such as an area of a triangle, and we're going to solve for the base of the triangle. In step one, what we're going to do is we're going to locate that variable that we're supposed to get by itself. And I'm going to do that by underlining it, and you're going to see me on the screen highlight it. We're going to identify those operations for this variable, and I'll explain that a little bit more as we get into it. Third step is we're going to use the inverse operations to undo those operations. And as we've done in the past, we're going to continue to clear fractions, undo add and subtract, as well as undo the multiply and divide. So let's go ahead and start with an easier question. This first question asks me to solve for r, so this would be step number 1. Okay, I've highlighted what I'm going to be finding. Step number 2 is to go ahead and on the side that you have highlighted, so the variable you're trying to get by itself, you want to go ahead and list any operations that there are. The only operation between the r and the t is multiplication, so I'm going to write that down. Multiply. And then the third step is to list how we undo that. So we're going to undo that multiplying by dividing. So what I'm going to end up doing then is just looking at this. I'm going to picture this as a big giant rock that I cannot move. It's going to stay there no matter what I do. But what I want to do is I want to get rid of this t that's attached to the rock. I am not moving the r, which is my big huge rock, because it's too heavy to move. We're going to leave it alone, but we're going to get rid of the other part to it. So that leaves me with my answer of r equals d over t. Notice I didn't move my large rock. It's still right there on the right-hand side. Another example. This is the formula for Fahrenheit. What we can do is, as we've talked about many times in my class, we do not care for fractions. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is eliminate those fractions before I even continue on any other part of this. So the way we can eliminate fractions is by multiplying by that least common denominator. In this case, I need to take each term. A term is separated by a plus, minus, or equal sign. Take each term and multiply it by 5. So this ends up being a new equation of 5f equals 9/5 times 5. Remember those cross reduce. So I get 9c plus 32 times 5 is 160. So using the steps that I gave you earlier, step 1, highlight or underline that variable you're trying to get by itself. Step 2, list the operations that are on that side of the equation. The operations I see are times and addition. So I'm going to write down multiplication and I'm going to write down addition. Third step, write down how to undo those operations. So I will undo the multiplication by dividing. I will undo the addition by subtracting. Now we'll go ahead and get ready to do that. If you try to undo the multiplication first, you're trying to divide by 9. That doesn't help this problem. It only just complicates it further. So we're going to erase that and try the other move, which would be to undo the subtraction. That makes a lot more sense. It's eliminating part of what's with that c. So this is now gone from the right-hand side. I now have 9c equals, all I can do is really write 5f minus 160. I still have the c on the right-hand side, and I'm going to be able to divide by 9 on both sides. This is how my answer will stay. I will not simplify it because there are no other like terms. I will continue with some more examples on the next video.